Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be reviewing the third episode of The Penguin from HBO, and it has released in India again every Monday 6:30 a.m. IST. You can watch it in Jio Cinema. Okay, so this review will be two parts: a non-spoiler section and a spoiler section, and I'll just start with the non-spoiler section. Okay, so this is the best episode so far. I know there have been only 3 episodes out, but this is easily the best episode. Everything about this episode is perfect. Everything that happens is perfect. And I have no complaints. It just felt unreal watching it. Like everything was top notch. And the star of this episode is Vic, the character Vic. And I will come back to him later because he is the best part of this episode, and I want to leave that for later. So I'll just start by saying, so we finally see Sophia Falcone and Oz working together as a team, and it's pure bliss to watch. Okay, that's a pun intended. If you have seen the episode, you will understand it. And their chemistry is just incredible. It's electric, and the way they play off each other is so good. Like, they have this banter which is not exactly funny, but it's intended to be funny, and it's just so good to watch. The dialogues are well written, and now we also get again more context of why Sophia doesn't like Oz. And I love this because I like that they just don't tell us everything together. Instead of that, they take each episode and like give bits and pieces of information in every episode. That too, it doesn't feel forced, and that way it keeps you intrigued. There's this mysterious feel to the show, and you like, okay, Sophia is hiding something, and they reveal that the episode by episode. You can feel there's a tension between two about something that happened in the past, and they don't show it all together, right? They just give bits of info, and it just feels good. And then again, it's because of the writing, and hats off to the writing team, incredible. And then we finally see the Breaking Bad of Gotham. What I mean by that is, we finally see the inside of the drug empire in Gotham. How they make the new drug, the cooks, how do they cook it, from where do they get it. Again, there's a link between Arkham and Sophia, and I mean, if you have seen the episode, you will understand what I'm saying. And also, you get a similar vibe from Oz and Sophia, like you get from Walter White and Jesse Pinkman. It's not exactly the same, but you do get a similar vibe from them, and it's just fun to watch. Again, the episode flies by. The pacing is perfect. I remember, like in the last episode, I complained about how it feels rushed sometimes, and just some scenes are like very slow, but some scenes just flew away. But this episode, it's perfect. It's 59 minutes and it just flew by. I have no complaints with the pacing. Again, the acting is perfect, which at this point is given from the show. Like, you just have A-list actors acting and giving their all. And then one more thing which I liked in this episode was the background music. It was a bit techno and bass, and I loved the use of that. And again, cinematography, production, technically, again, everything was brilliant as usual. Okay, so that's my non-spoiler thoughts. It's perfect, best episode so far. And if you haven't started watching this show yet, what are you doing? Just go watch it. Fine, now I'll go to the spoiler section, mainly talking about Vic and what they do with him in this episode. So let me start by saying, in a TV show about the Penguin, you will never expect any other character to take center stage, right? I mean, yes, Sophia is there, but again, it's the show about the Penguin, and you will never expect anyone else to overshadow him. But it happens in this episode. Vic's character, right? He literally has no business being in this show with Penguin and Sophia Falcone, but they just use him in a way he balances out Penguin perfectly. It's just so well written. Like, what I mean to say is that instead of being with Penguin, like, I may be wrong, but I felt like almost 40% of this episode was spent with Vic. And I'm not kidding when I say this. He stole this episode. Even though he was only there for 40% of it, he stole it because of what they do with his character. And like, the episode starts with a Gotham's flooding, right? Which is from the Batman movie. The Riddler does that. But in this episode, they show it us from the perspective of Vic. So he is in the neighborhood and the flooding happens, the bombing happens, and it just hits different. In the Batman, if you see it, it's differently. Here, now like Vic, what he has gone through, and now you see it happening from his perspective. Just wow, I didn't think of this. Like, there was no need for this scene, but they added it. Why? Because it improves the character of Vic. There's character development happening. And like, you could see what he went through when he lost his family in the flood. That wouldn't have hit if they could have showed this flooding scene in the first episode itself, but they didn't, because they built Vic's character through the 2 episodes, and now they show the flooding, and now it hits differently. So it's just these small choices made by the writers pay off brilliantly. And they introduce us to his love interest, Gabriel. Again, no business to add her, but why did the writers add her? To give us more character depth. Because what happens at the end of the episode wouldn't have paid off as much as it did if they didn't do all this hard work at the start. So it's the writing. Hats off to the writers. And the actor who played Vic, his name Renzi Fields, he should be given credit, man. Because being in a show with Colin Farrell and Kristen Milioti, you steal the episode from them. It's just incredible. Like, he's the star of this episode because of what they do with him emotionally. You could see from his acting, like, the internal turmoil which Vic has, whether he should run away or stay with Oz. The restaurant scene, you can feel like he wants to leave, but his gut says no, stay with Oz, that'll be better for you. And then the confrontation scene in the bathroom with him and Oz, perfect. Just wow. And of course, the last scene, the way it ends, when Oz gets caught between the Maronis and the Falcons, Vic, at that moment, he decides, no, I'll stay with Oz. That's my life. It's too late to walk away now. He comes back and saves him. Everything comes full circle. The whole episode was building up to that, and finally it came to a full circle, and it paid off brilliantly. And again, as a cliffhanger perspective, like the way they set it up for the mid-season finale, the next episode, it's just so well thought out, so well written. I have nothing to complain about. I just cannot wait for the next episode to come now. And yeah, that's all I had to say about this. So those are my thoughts on the 3rd episode of The Penguin. I hope you enjoy it. So yeah, that's it. Goodbye.